Hi guys, Jasmo here, and today I have a little update for you. I have finally hit level 100 on my rogue, and I'm gonna talk about how I hit level 100, what I think is the best way to level your character, and some tips and tricks related to that. So I personally played this whole time solo. This is a softcore character, and group play is way overtuned in my opinion. The reason is groups have multiple advantages. Number one advantage, of course, is the obvious one, which is the fact that you synergize with each other. Let's say you can have one person who takes care of putting vulnerable, one person adds some curses and debuffs, one person has buffs for your entire party, and so your characters are going to be stronger in a group than on their own. So therefore, in groups, you're just going to be faster and you're going to be doing more damage, and you're going to be tankier in general. So groups have this inherent advantage. On top of that, Blizzard also decided that as you group, you get an extra 5%, I think, XP advantage just for being grouped for no reason at all. And then on top of that, there's also a mechanic where if you are in a dungeon, for example, and you farm, let's say, the same dungeon. Let's say you're picking like a Champion's Demise, which is very popular for that strategy. You can have each person go into a different lane, and doesn't matter how far from each other they are, you're going to be getting all of the XP from everybody else farming in the same dungeon. So essentially, you're farming 3 times as fast if you're in a group than if you are by yourself, which is absolutely insane, absolutely broken, and I don't think that should work. I think if you're in a group and someone is more than a screen away from you, like, like full screen, and then like one more screen more than that away from you, then you shouldn't be getting experience for them killing those monsters, right? Because you're not really playing as a group at that point, and it just makes group XP so much more broken. Like it's incomparable how much more powerful playing in a group is when you want to level quickly is than solo. However, I don't like playing in groups. I find that fucking lame. I find it lame for like someone else to kill monsters and I get XP for it. That just sounds dumb. That just sounds like I'm not playing the game anymore. If people want to do that, let them do that, but that's not my playstyle. I prefer playing myself, killing monsters myself, matching the challenge to the level of my character and to the level, like my skill level and so on. And so I can like push on my own pace. And that's what I prefer doing. So that's what I did. In the beginning, of course, you do the campaign, especially on the first character. Then after that, you're gonna gear up a little bit, get close to level 50, let's say get like between 45 and 50, and you're gonna do your capstone dungeon. After that, you level by basically doing the renown. So you wanna complete all of the renown because the paragon points are massive. The max obos even are useful, plus extra skill points. Everything here is very useful. So you definitely wanna make sure that you do all of that. So I was doing the renown by doing the side quests, strongholds, waypoints, and then also dungeons and altars of Lilith. The first thing I did was altars of Lilith together with some side quests, because as you are walking around the zone, like for altars of Lilith, you're gonna have lots of quests that are just on your way that you can very quickly do. So it's not a problem to do them while you're doing that. And that is basically what you do in world tier 3. You're basically doing all of these things. You're doing some extra dungeons. If you have, let's say, very low level still, because you leveled on world tier 1 in the first stage. I leveled only on world tier 2 and world tier 3. I haven't made a character in world tier 1 yet. So I was only playing in world tier 2 and 3. That's why my level was very much like appropriate to the content at all times. But if you're too low level, just do more dungeons. You can do extra dungeons. I have done all of the dungeons, every single dungeon, to collect all of the aspects. And these dungeons are, some of them, like, you're gonna find some dungeons that are not in the pool of the nightmare dungeons that are actually pretty fun and pretty cool to do. But let's talk about that. So after you get to level 70 or shortly before that, you're gonna get to world tier 4, and then you're gonna be doing nightmare dungeons as your primary means of leveling, unless you're gonna be doing some kind of a regular dungeon resetting, which was what most people were doing. However, those strategies, number 1, have been nerfed. Number 2, they're not even that good. And number 3, they don't give you a glyph XP and they give you worse loot. So in general, in my opinion, it was not really worth doing, because by the time you're gonna hit level 100, you're not even gonna level like all of the possible glyphs. You're gonna level all of the glyphs that your character uses. So if you look at my Paragon board, I am currently using 5 different boards, and I have 5 different glyphs, and all of these glyphs are level 21. That is something you can get probably by level 90 or maybe by level like 85, something like that. You can maybe get all of them to level 21 if you are running Nightmare Dungeons. But then let's say I want to do PvP now, right? And I want to use a different board. Let's say I want to swap my build, right? So I have started leveling different glyphs as well. So I got level 15, level 15, level 15, level 11. So this is what I'm leveling now. And I've got a bunch more glyphs that I'm going to be leveling so that I can swap the build to anything else I want to play. And this is going to be my testing character where I'm going to be trying to test different builds and see how different things work. If somehow like somebody finds out, okay, this glyph is broken now for this build, I'm gonna be ready for that, and I'm gonna have any glyphs leveled that I want. Also, the Nightmare Dungeons provide you a way to get more XP by means of having the monsters being higher level than you. So if you have the monsters 3 levels higher than you, then that is optimal for gaining XP, because you get the maximum bonus XP for fighting higher level enemies, but you also don't make them too hard so that you can still do them quickly. As long as you have a decent character, it is no problem at all. It's pretty easy to do Nightmare Dungeons that are 3 levels above you. So that's what I was doing. There is also a strategy which, if you are a solo player, is by far the best one for farming XP, and that is resetting Nightmare Dungeons. Okay, so this is something that is probably gonna get fixed. It's probably gonna be removed, and I probably wouldn't be making a video about it and talking about it if this wasn't already out there, but this is already public knowledge. People have already made videos about it, so I'm gonna share it as well. If you didn't know, you can do Nightmare Dungeons on repeat. So you can find a Nightmare Dungeon that you like. For example, I like Core Dragan for loot, because you kill like a lot of elites, and in terms of the dungeons that give you a lot of XP, there is a dungeon here, Blind Burrows, I think. Yeah, I think Blind Burrows is a really good dungeon that allows you to just run it repeatedly without killing the boss. And the way you do that is you enter the dungeon, the Nightmare Dungeon, right? Okay, we got some spiders fighting me. Let me just go to town so they don't bother me. All right. So let's look again at the map. You open the Nightmare Dungeon with Blind Burrows. You go there, and what I would do is I would go there, kill one monster, then I would go and TP to here, do Iron Hold, and I would do the Iron Hold but not kill the boss, right? So I would do this, I would enter, do the first part of it. So you collect the key, you open the door, and you move a little bit past the door, and you can stop at that. But if you already did that, might as well go and kill the big packs. So I kill the big packs that are afterwards. There are like 2 giant elite packs that you can kill, and then you leave dungeon. And then you go back to this Nightmare Dungeon, and this dungeon is going to be reset, and you're going to be able to kill all of the monsters in it except for the boss, leave dungeon, enter it immediately, it's already reset. You don't have to log out, you don't have to do anything else, it's going to automatically reset when you leave the dungeon at that point. So that's what I was doing for the last half a level. I did it just to speed through level 99 very quickly, and just to test how quick it is, and it is indeed very quick. Another tip I can give you for quick leveling is something that there is one thing that you're doing that everybody else is doing that is slowing them more than anything else, right? There is one thing you're doing that's slowing you more than anything else. However, you probably still should be doing it, and that is looking at gear. Okay, if you want to level super quickly and you don't care about anything else, just leveling, don't pick up gear, don't look at gear, like only pick up legendaries, right? Just only pick up legendaries and move on, or not even pick them up, they're gonna just end up in your stash, right? But you can pick up legendaries and just ignore all rare loot, ignore all gems, ignore everything else. It is gonna speed you up immensely. Like, it is massive speed boost. However, the problem is that once you get to level 100, the next thing to do is to do the Uber Lilith fight. And for the Uber Lilith fight, you have to be really well geared. So the Uber Lilith fight is very difficult, and I have went into it. I tried it for like half an hour or so, just bashed my head against the wall a little bit, and I realized that the fight is gonna be way easier if I can tank one wave, right? Because everything in the fight seems to be super easy, and I can face tank the Lilith, no problem. Just leech, like with I got recovery from siphoning strikes, right? And it's just I'm doing good enough damage. I'm tanking every other mechanic, but the waves are one-shotting me. If you can tank a wave, if you can make your character tanky enough to do those waves, you're gonna be able to do this fight much easier, right? So I am at the stage where I'm trying to gear up my character a little bit more so that I can hit like 10k armor and 20k life and see if that will be enough for my character to tank those waves, and that would be much easier to do this fight in that case, right? And for that you need, of course, upgrades. So I have changed my gems to provide me a little bit of extra maximum life. I have also done a quest. So there is a side quest that gives you an amulet. I'm gonna link in the description what side quest it is, and I'm gonna show you the amulet that you get from it. And ideally, you wanna do this side quest at level 100. If you do this before, you're gonna have lower item level. And then you have some variance in terms of the rolls, but the main thing is that if you do this quest, you're gonna get an amulet that gives you a lot of life. So I have an amulet here that gives me 2000 life. And also I rerolled it to give me some armor, right? So I want a lot of life and armor, and I'm gonna sacrifice what I have here, which is some ranks of imbuement skills, dex, and movement speed. The marksman skill damage doesn't matter, the movement speed doesn't matter that much. And I also have the penetrating shot aspect on it, so I will not have to swap this off. I will be able to simply swap this amulet and use a different skill because I'm not gonna be using penetrating shot on the Lilith fight. So that's what you can get. Like, this amulet is super powerful for specifically doing that fight. If you want to make your character super tanky, there's nothing else you can get. Like on amulet, you cannot normally roll life, right? So this is why this is so powerful. So you can see 16.4, 14.4, like just 2k extra life. Absolutely insane amulet. So I'm gonna be trying to get some more rings with life. I'm gonna be trying to get pants with life, helmet with life, because I'm still missing life on these items, and then maybe better rolls on my other gear, such as the other ring and the armor. And then of course I want to get as much generic damage reduction as I can, so I'm looking for like total armor, maximum life, damage reduction. Those are the three attributes, the three modifiers that I want on these defensive items, and I'm gonna try to make my character as tanky as possible to do the Lilith fight comfortably without having to perfectly dodge every single wave, because that is gonna be a little bit difficult. I also found a bug. There are so many bugs, by the way, in the game. In the Lilith fight, there is a bug where if you die in the phase with the ads, the camera is going to be zoomed out for you for the entire fight. If you just continue like with the next fight, you're going to have different camera zoom, and that's going to also make Lilith obstruct the view, because she's floating up and then the waves spawn and her body is like obstructing the view sometimes. So that's another bug. There's also a bug with hotkeys. Basically, I cannot have anything on this slot because that makes my rapid fire trigger twice. Like for some reason I'm stuck in a cast animation. One good tip I can give you, if you're playing with rapid fire and you want to try to do the Lilith fight or with any ability that takes a while, like just stack out of attack speed. Attack speed is going to make the animation shorter, and it's going to make you stuck in a place for shorter duration, so it's going to be easier for you to dodge, because committing for a long attack is very bad in a fight like this. So that's basically it. Some tips for how to reach level 100. Hopefully this has been helpful. Good luck with your journey to 100, and see you next time. Bye bye.